Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian and his trusty sidekick. Hello! Today we're having a look at our completed model of the Alamo Chapel.
Well, it's not completed.
Well, it is.
You haven't painted it.
I have to paint it, yeah. But I thought I'd just do a video on it as it's finished before I actually paint it, so you can see sort of how I did it. So the model is entirely made out of card with milliput put over the top, which gives you the texture and stuff for the actual model.
And the wall's nice and thick.
4 feet. 4 feet and 3 feet, the thickness of the walls. So I measured it all out and used a bit of rule of thumb, and after all it's only a model we're playing with, so it's not that important. So that's the front, and you can see that the figures fit quite nicely in it. If you look at the interior, there's a ramp that runs up the inside, and to stop figures sliding down we have little bits of
Stuck-up wood.
wood which are sort of all fallen down from the original roof, and that just holds the figures up and stops them from sliding.
Yep.
Pretty good idea. Not that I'm seeing a huge amount of fighting in this actual building, but it is useful.
I'll make sure we're fighting there all day.
The battle ended here. This is the last bit that's held out, as far as we know. Oh, there's a building just here where there were some guys holding out too. But we're not exactly going to be recreating the battle exactly, because Smellface over here is probably going to do something completely different. Just show you around the model. That's the side view. You can see the figures fit quite nicely in here. It's designed so it will hold 4 figures. You're not necessarily going to have that many defenders hanging around, but you can actually put them on. Although the walls will be too high for the ladders.
So who's going to be defending them?
Well, the Texans. This is the Texans' fault.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, I was wondering. You confused me because the Mexicans are there at the moment.
Yeah, the Mexicans are at the moment because we haven't got any Texans.
I was about to say, wait a minute, they're not defending, are they?
We've only got Mexicans, unfortunately. So we'll spin around here. That's the complete side view. You've got the buttressed walls. You can see the interior a little bit. It looks okay. That door was bricked up from the inside, but it's still there for show. Maybe some silly Mexicans ran up to it and started smashing it down and discovered there was bricks on the other side.
A wall.
Yeah.
Inside.
That's the rear view. I quite like it. I think it's a decent model. And I'll just spin around. So it's got quite a bit of interior you can play with. I didn't bother making the roofs of the magazine detachable because they were full of gunpowder anyway. So it didn't really make any difference. And the other room was full of women and children.
Why?
Hiding.
Oh.
Some of them actually lived there, so it was kind of their house. And some of the people were families or friends of the defenders, or people who just didn't want to live under the local rule. At the end of the...
Oh, holiday makers.
Yeah, at the end of the battle, the gunnery officer, he tried to blow up the magazine to stop the Mexicans getting hold of it. All the gunpowder and stuff. Had he succeeded, he would have killed all the women and children at the same time because they were in the room next door.
Oh, didn't you know that?
Yeah.
Oh, I just didn't care.
No, not really, he's a soldier. His job was to stop the Mexicans getting hold of it.
Ever heard of the poem Remains?
Heard of what?
The poem Remains.
Not off the top of my head. I probably have.
That is the story about a soldier who killed someone, and the drinks and the drugs won't flush him out of his head.
Yeah, yeah.
So they do care.
Yeah, usually conscripted soldiers really care. During this particular period, I'm not sure you're going to worry too much about that sort of stuff because life was pretty hard already. Bear in mind, you still had trouble with Indians at the time. The Indians were coming massacre villages and stuff. So if you're a soldier, a volunteer soldier, then you've probably already seen quite a bit of nasty things in your life. You're talking about people growing up in the modern world given a rifle and sent out to fight.
Yeah.
And Yeah.
You're supposed to be more trained nowadays because you're not rushing.
In the real world, in real armies, it's only actually a handful of men or women who do the killing. The rest are just really there to make up the numbers. Because you have to be basically you have to be a psychopath in order to be able to function as a proper soldier. And most people are psychopaths.
Platoon, Barn, he was a complete psychopath.
Well, they were both were.
No, because I forgot his name. What's his name?
Elias.
Elias was the sneaky and tactical one who cared about his soldiers. Barnes didn't care.
Yeah, Elias wanted to keep his men alive. And Barnes didn't care if his men died, because he had a job to do. But Barnes would keep them alive as well, because if you follow his orders, chances are you'll make it.
But none of them did when they followed his orders.
Well, hardly anyone survived in the end, did they? Because
No,
they were overrun.
Yeah, 3 people, 10 people?
Yeah, they were overrun. Yeah.
Well, that platoon, like 2 people survived.
Back to your question. Yeah, it would hit you pretty hard, but most soldiers aren't there to kill women and children, are they? Most soldiers are there.
Even killing other men, other soldiers, is horrific.
Oh yeah, especially then, because most killing was done at bayonet point.
So you witnessed their face scrunch up as they died.
Yeah, because guns, rifles were very inaccurate.
Yeah, I know they were.
Even close range, they weren't that accurate.
So it fires over.
Yeah. So most of the casualties were actually caused in close combat, which is why rifles have a steel base, so you can beat people's heads in with them. It's pretty nasty stuff. After a battle, even if you win, you're covered in blood. Whether it be your friend's blood, maybe your own blood if you're injured, and the poor guys you've beaten to death or stabbed to death with your bayonet or with a sword or a knife.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty gruesome stuff. At the end of the Battle of the Alamo, as far as we know, the Mexicans for about 20 minutes ran around screaming, shooting dead bodies and bayoneting dead bodies, and in the end Santa Anna had to call a retreat and get the men out of the Alamo because they were starting to shoot each other. Because the men were terrified, and then they got in there and they were screaming and shouting, and it was night time, there was rifles going off everywhere, and it's terrifying, really. I mean, the defenders, just imagine, a lot of the defenders weren't even from the American continent, they were from Europe. They were English and German and various other nationalities. So they grew up in Europe and then moved to America, and they ended up at the Alamo. So that's pretty gruesome stuff for a country like yeah. Quite depressing. You've turned this into a depressing video, haven't you?
Yeah, but I had to make sure that you knew that every single time a soldier kills someone else, they start getting themselves in massive disorders.
I would agree.
Nervous breakdowns.
Yeah, I would agree. Most soldiers would actually just ignore it. You'd have to ignore it in order to survive.
You can't ignore the fact that you just killed someone.
Oh, well, why not?
Could you?
That guy's trying to kill you.
Right, you killed someone. Even if the guy's trying...
Guilt. But would you feel guilt if say you're a Mexican soldier and you're fighting at the Alamo? You may kill a Texan. You may bend him in the chest and see him die. That guy's, as far as you're concerned, a traitor. He's a bad man who is doing bad things.
Until the battle's over and you think
he's trying to kill you.
Until the battle's over and you think differently.
Oh yeah, and I dare say that you had to have that moment
when
of
the battle
remorse.
starts, you're filled with anger because of what they are, and when you kill them, you think, oh, can I actually feel a little bit?
Actually, I guess when the battle starts, you're too busy, terrified. You're scared senseless, wouldn't you?
Yeah, like me starting a new school.
Yeah, you started starting a new school is nothing compared to assaulting the Alamo or fighting in a battle.
No, I'll be the smart ones. I'll be right back. Last one here.
Imagine it in the Somme. Imagine your great grandfather at the Somme, and you're fighting in the trenches, and you're fighting over mud and.
It won a battle. If we didn't do the song, we probably wouldn't be here now.
Why?
Speaking English.
So we moved our the general's drinks cabinet 2 meters closer to Berlin,
Yeah.
and then got pushed all the way back again shortly after the Somme. So it was a complete waste of time. It just managed to kill lots of soldiers and gain nothing.
No, the government gained support. Yeah.
Well, the government arrested you if you questioned the government, so it's pretty easy to get support when you live in Britain during that particular period of history. So yeah, being a soldier's quite scary, and we war game with soldiers all the time. Imagine what a Viking went through, or a Saxon, or knight in the old days. Most of the all the fighting was done at close range. Where you'd see arms and legs chopped off. Imagine being a Roman soldier hacking someone's arm off. So the Romans had nightmares at night?
I don't think Romans really care.
Oh no, because they were fighting savages. They weren't human people.
No, because the Romans were too small to see over the shield.
No, but the enemy, the people the Romans are fighting, unless they were fighting Romans, in which case it was slightly different because the Romans took a lot of care and attention over the dead they killed if they were Romans that they were killing. They used to write letters to each other and stuff. So, if you find my body, please tell my family that I died.
I killed my best friend today.
Yeah.
Oh, so sad. Anyway, love, Brandon, see ya.
Yeah, but when the Romans were in the shield wall, when they were fighting during the Civil War, the Romans would shout over, my name's so-and-so, please tell my family if I die. And if the guy died, the Roman soldier would then go back to Rome and tell his family, sorry, I killed your son, or your brother, whatever. Because it was a civil war.
Sorry, by the way, I killed your son. I'm so sorry about that.
But you bring him his things. You bring him his things, his goods, his possessions, something of him. You bring something back. It's very depressing, really. What's the film in World War One where the German soldier is with a French soldier, and the French guy's bleeding to death?
All Quiet on the Western
Front. Yeah, and the French, he takes all the Frenchmen's letters and things, and writes a letter to his family. Yeah. So
he doesn't take it with him. Something to France, he just puts it back in his pocket.
For someone to find, yeah.
Like anyone's going to find it.
You went out and collected the dead when you could, because otherwise you all die of typhus and cholera. It's always good to.
Well, how did the sun then?
There were moments where they weren't fighting. They didn't fight all the time.
Like Christmas.
Months went past without any fighting at all.
Like Christmas.
Yeah, like Christmas. And after the first Christmas, the British government decided that the British Army should attack on Christmas Day every day from then on, because that stopped fraternisation. Because the British government were psychopaths who didn't care.
What's stopping them doing it summer?
Well, imagine if all your side get up and walk over to their side and you swap Christmas presents and cigarettes and beef and stuff, and you talk about your family and show them pictures of your family. Makes it very hard to kill them the next day, doesn't it?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So
the Germans one got up and then we got up.
Yeah. And the French did too. The French got up and talked to the Germans, and the Belgians down the coast did. All along the coast.
Everyone did that.
Yeah. And it's extremely demoralising for the generals, because the generals just want to kill people.
Yeah, no, so both generals, the German generals and our generals, ordered airstrikes on our men.
Yeah, they ordered the German. I think the French shelled their no man's land, didn't they?
Yeah.
The British dropped bombs on no man's land, and the Germans strafed no man's land while the thing was going on.
It's right weird, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, but why should you do it?
Because the people in charge don't want people to realise that you're all basically the same people.
No, if they carried on going ahead, I don't think they would have fought.
No, they wouldn't have done. It would have been revolution. The armies would have revolted like the French did. The French army revolted.
The Germans don't want to fight us, and we don't want to fight them.
No.
We just get told to by our king.
Yeah, you get told to go and fight. You get given a rifle and a uniform, get shouted at by a guy in a field for 2 weeks.
And then the guy in the field runs off.
Yeah, and then they send you to France to walk in front of the machine gun.
The guy who teaches you stays, and you go.
Your grandfather trained, so he would have been one of the men in the field shouting.
Seriously?
Yeah. He trained people to use gas masks and stuff.
Was it one of them really annoying ones though?
Probably not. He kind of did a lot in the war. He was quite accomplished, which means you didn't really want to stand next to him, because you're probably one who gets killed when he's the one who survives.
Uses you as a battle shield. Oh look, shrapnel. Stand here. Yes, and then look quickly up, left, right, left.
There's a story about, or memoir about American soldier on the beaches of, was it Omaha, where the Americans were attacking World War II, and they stormed the beaches, and there was this officer, this American officer, that stood up, shouting at the men to get off the beach, and he was just stood in the middle of the beach, and this guy ran up next to this guy to ask where he was supposed to go, because he'd fallen in, he'd lost his rifle. It's a long story, but and this officer just grabbed him and pulled him out of the way, and the guy next to him got hit, because the officer knew that if he stood in that particular place, the German machine gun couldn't hit him. But the men coming up next to him were being hit, but the officer knew he could stand there in the open and not get hit, because that's someone with experience, someone who knows what he's doing and he's seen the situation, he can read the situation.
Unless they've got a sniper somewhere, and you're screwed.
Not that many snipers around though.
There were?
No, because the troops they were fighting were French.
Oh.
So you had a lot of snipers in the German army.
Anyway, Alamo!
No, every fourth man is a sniper, basically. And the other men are just there to make sure he gets to shoot. Most German soldiers don't actually, only fire their rifles to give cover fire, to make the enemy keep their heads down while the real shooter gets the shot. We've discussed this in a video before.
Yeah, Germans.
Yeah, there's basic German training and how German army is organised. Right, so we have gone through the project that we're doing with the Alamo project. I'm sorry we've gone sidetracked, but it was actually quite an interesting question you posed today. You've been doing this in school?
No, we've been doing Hitler's. We just finished Hitler's trial.
Fascinating. Did you enjoy it?
It was pretty fun.
What were the best bits?
Well, when they were expecting him, for doing high treason.
Yeah.
Because the rebellion was failed. Naturally.
Well, actually, it was a cover for a bank robbery.
And he was found hiding in a cupboard.
Yeah.
The great leader hiding in a cupboard. Right. He
also managed to avoid being shot in the face because he stood at the back. Let the other men go forward.
And then they put him on trial, and they were expecting, because he did high treason, to be shot.
Yeah.
But they said 5 years. But if you're a good boy, Mr. Hitler, it's 9 months.
Yeah.
And so all the newspapers like, oh no, that ain't good.
Because the trial was rigged.
No, what? It's because the judges liked him.
Well, no, the trial was...
Because the judges didn't like the Weimar Republic.
Well, no one liked the Weimar Republic. Even the Weimar Republic didn't really like itself. The country was run by the Free Corps, basically, because they were the ones with the guns. And the people with the guns generally the ones who run the country. And Hitler was backed by the military, who didn't like the Free Corps. And so they kind of...
Actually, it wasn't backed by the military. The military shot him.
Actually, I think it was actually the Free Corps that shot him. Because the Free Corps basically were police. See, the military were afraid that the Free Corps would seize power. They were all ex-military, and they were afraid that they would seize power. So the military backed the other side, so to speak. They preferred to back people like Hitler. But that's an whole other video, isn't it? Yeah. So here is the Alamo so far. We've done lots of talking about stuff that's nothing to do with the Alamo. I apologise for that. But you know what? We haven't actually had a conversation for a few days because we've been so busy. And
yeah, outro.
Yeah. Do you want to do the outro now? Yeah.
So
I'll just say before we finish. The next video we do of this, it will be painted. We're going to paint it up and make it look really cool. I've working on a few paint schemes. We'll have to do a video on our Mexicans because we've got some Mexicans now, although we haven't got any Americans. We've discussed this before. We're still looking for a decent manufacturer to get them from, and we're working on that. We will get back to you when we get that done. Yeah, over to you.
So if you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe, and comment down below what you think of our lovely conversations.
Yeah, well, it wasn't really a video about the Alamo. Well, you've seen a picture of it done. There you go. That makes you happy. But basically talking, really. That's it. Have fun and excitement. Thank you very much for watching. It's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from him.
Goodbye.